There's a credit card so exclusive you can't apply for it. You can't buy it. And American Express won't even tell you what it takes to get one. The wildest part? It started as a rumor. A card everyone whispered about that didn't actually exist. Until American Express decided to build it. Think about how strange that is. Every other company on Earth is trying to make its product easier to get. More available, more affordable, one click away. American Express did the opposite. They took a piece of titanium, wrapped it in secrecy, put a $15,000 wall in front of it, and refused to explain the rules. And it became the most wanted card in the world. So here's the question I want to answer. How do you build the most desired product on the planet? The answer is going to sound insane. You make it impossible to get. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly how Amex did this. Where the myth came from, how they turned a rumor into a real product in 1999, the 3 decisions that made it untouchable, and the part almost nobody notices. The reason this one card you'll never own is quietly selling you a card you probably already have. Let's start with the myth. Because the myth came first, the card came second. The rumor that built a card. Rewind to the 1980s. American Express quietly ran a trial. An ultra-exclusive black card, never advertised, handed out to a tiny group of private banking clients. Fewer than 1,000 people in the entire world. In 1988, the Wall Street Journal reported it, and reported that Amex had already killed it a year earlier in 1987, because the brand new Platinum card supposedly covered 95% of what the black card did. So the card was gone, but the story wasn't. Because a secret card for the richest people alive is exactly the kind of story that refuses to die. Through the 90s, the rumor grew. There's a black Amex. It has no limit. Only a handful of people have one. And the best version of that rumor came from Jerry Seinfeld. Seinfeld tells it like this. He's on set, waiting for the crew to move some cameras. A crew guy walks up and says, "You got the black card?" Seinfeld says, "No." "What's the black card?" The guy says, "There's only 3 in the world. The Sultan of Brunei has one. The President of American Express has one. And I thought you had the 3rd. Here's the thing. There was no 3rd card. There was no card at all. But the idea was so good it got under Seinfeld's skin. So the next morning, he calls the President of American Express directly and asks him straight, "Is there a black card?" And the President tells him the truth. It's just a rumor. It doesn't exist. And then he pauses. And he says the line that started everything. But you know what? It's not a bad idea. Sit with that. The most exclusive card in history began as a fantasy about a card that wasn't real. Amex didn't discover a demand and fill it. The demand was for a thing that didn't exist. And that's when they realized the truth almost no company understands. The wanting was the product, not the card. The wanting, turning a myth into a machine. So in 1999, American Express made the rumor real. They launched the Centurion Card, black, invitation only, no preset spending limit. And Jerry Seinfeld claims he was the very first person to get one, the man who chased the myth becoming the first to hold the fact. But here's where most people misunderstand what Amex actually built. They think Amex built a luxury card. They didn't. They built a wall and put a card behind it. The card is almost beside the point. What they were really selling was the wall, and they didn't stumble into it. Amex admitted the whole thing out loud. One of their own directors told the fact-checking site Snopes, and I'm quoting him, "There had been rumors going around that we had this ultra-exclusive black card for elite customers. It wasn't true, but we decided to capitalize on the idea anyway." That's not a leaked secret. That's the strategy, said plainly. So let's break down the 3 decisions that turned a rumor into the most powerful status symbol in finance. Decision 1. Make the door invisible. You cannot apply for a Centurion card. There's no button, no form in the normal sense. Since the day it launched, the only way in has been for American Express to tap you on the shoulder and invite you. And how do they decide who gets tapped? They won't say. Amex has never published the requirements. Not the spending, not the net worth, not the formula. Reporters have spent 20 years guessing. The numbers you'll hear floated are enormous. Reportedly, you need to spend somewhere between $350,000 and $1 million a year on your other Amex cards just to be considered. Reportedly, because Amex confirms nothing. And here's the part that makes it genius instead of just annoying. Even if you hit the number, even if you spend the million, you still might not get invited. There's a secret formula, and clearing the rumored bar doesn't guarantee anything. Think about what that does to a person. Most walls you can climb if you're willing to pay. This wall, you can pay full price and still be left outside, and never be told why. So people don't just want the card. They obsess over it. Because you can't buy your way in. You can only be chosen. But here's the part Amex will never fully confirm, and it's where the second decision comes in. Decision 2. Make the price the filter. Say the invitation comes, now you pay. $10,000 one time just to initiate. Then $5,000 every single year. Which means before you swipe it once, you're $15,000 in. Now, to almost everyone watching, that's an absurd number. And that's the point. That fee isn't really a price. It's a filter. It's a velvet rope made of money. It quietly guarantees that everyone holding this card lives in a world where $15,000 a year is a rounding error. Because exclusivity only works if the wrong people can't follow. Drop the fee to $500 and the magic evaporates overnight. Suddenly, everyone has it. And a symbol everyone has is a symbol of nothing. The high price isn't the cost of the perks. The high price is the perk. It's the wall, priced in dollars, and then there's the object itself. This isn't plastic. The Centurion is minted from anodized titanium, laser-etched, heavier than any normal card. It lands on the bar with a sound. People notice it. It was designed to be noticed. Because a status symbol you keep in your wallet is useless. It has to announce itself the moment it hits the table. Which brings us to what you actually get. And this is where it gets seductive. Decision 3. Sell service, not points. Here's the strange thing. As a rewards card, the Centurion is mediocre. 1 point per dollar. That's it. You could walk into any bank and get a card that earns more. So if you're doing the math on points, this card is a bad deal. But you're not paying for math. You're paying for a person. Every Centurion member gets a dedicated concierge. Not a call center, a human being who learns you. One well-known cardholder said his concierge saves him more than $20,000 a year. This concierge has arranged private tours of the Forbidden City, scored front-row concert seats, booked impossible restaurant tables. Hold this card and you're automatically elite everywhere. Top-tier Delta, Hilton Diamond, Marriott Gold. Status other travelers grind for years to earn, handed to you on day one. Add credits at Equinox and Saks worth thousands. Access to a global network of more than 1,000 airport lounges, including Amex's own Centurion lounges. A hidden speakeasy behind a hat shop in Singapore that opens only if you know which panel to push. Invitation-only events. A greeter who walks you past customs. And the ceiling? One holder charged $170 million to his card. A single Modigliani painting at auction. The largest known purchase in the card's history. No preset limit, remember. When they say no limit, they mean $170 million clears. So now you've got the full picture. A card you can't apply for. A price built to keep people out. A slab of titanium that turns heads. And a level of service that makes the ultra-rich feel taken care of. Every piece engineered around one feeling. You are inside something almost no one gets to enter. But here's the reframe, and it's the whole reason this works. The genius nobody sees. The Centurion card is not the business, it's the bait. Think about it as a ladder. At the very top, invisible to almost everyone, sits the black card. impossible, mythical. And because that top rung exists, because there's a card even millionaires get rejected for, every rung below it suddenly looks reasonable. The card right under it is the Platinum, around $700 to $900 a year. On its own, that's a steep annual fee, and plenty of people would balk at it. But next to a $15,000 card you're not even allowed to have, the Platinum feels like a bargain. It feels attainable. It feels like the sensible version of the dream. And here's the quiet mechanic. To even be considered for the Centurion, you have to spend heavily on the Platinum first. So the impossible card literally drives people to spend more on the card they can get, chasing an invitation that may never come. That's the trick. Amex built one card almost no one can have, and that single card sells millions of the cards everyone can. The black card doesn't make its money from the black card. It makes its money by making the entire American Express brand feel like the card of the wealthy, a ladder you're always one rung from the top of. So the real answer to how you build the most wanted card in the world isn't better rewards. It isn't a nicer medal. Amex didn't win by out-innovating anyone. Look closely, and the card gives you less, fewer points, a punishing fee, no way to even apply. The genius was never the card. The genius was making it impossible to get. The question. So here's what I want to leave you with. We're taught that value is about what a thing gives you. More features, more rewards, more access. But the most desired object in the entire financial world is built on the exact opposite idea. Its value is what it withholds. The wall is the product. And that should make you look a little harder at everything you chase. The wait list. The sold-out drop. The club you can't get into. The rope you're standing behind. So here's the question. Are you actually chasing the thing? Or are you just chasing the fact that you can't have it? Tell me down below. What's the one thing you've wanted most only because someone told you that you couldn't have it?